We're going to start this video with a small exercise. I want you to think about 5 things that you really want right now. Things that have been on your mind that you've been like, oh my God, I freaking want it. It's beautiful. Gotta have it. You ready? On my list are the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette, Glossier Boy Brow, Glossier Lucite, a white bodysuit, and some Glamnetic nails. Initially, when I came up with this list, it took me about 90 seconds. How long did it take you to come up with your list? Was it relatively easy and quick, or did it take you a couple minutes? Also, were you kind of flooded with choice, or were you only able to really come up with 2 or 3 things? And out of the items on your list, how many of those would you consider like trendy or hot items or brands? On my list, the one that stands out is the I Need a Nude palette. But also when you think about brands as a whole, Glossier and Glamnetic are both kind of hot brands. Glossier, not as much as like 5 years ago. And Glamnetic is definitely one of those like trendy internet brands. Their products do happen to be good as well, but the point still stands. I want us to use our list to think about how often we're influenced to try brands or products because they're new, in style, or trendy. And here's my central message for today. The concept of in style is an illusion designed to sell us more things. This is true for the concept of in style, but also other terms like trendy or popular. In style is far more potent because it touches on ourselves and our beings in ways that aren't quite as true for the other terms. We can apply all of these terms to the self, as in she's so stylish, she's in style, or they're trendy. But in style cuts more to the core. Saying someone is out of style, even if the intention was only to apply to the clothes, it can feel like a reference beyond the clothes and attaching or referencing the person themselves. This feels especially the case when you're on the receiving end of such a term. If you're called out of style, it can feel like an attack on who you are. It's really common for people to say that clothes are more than just clothes, that they are a reflection of who you are on the inside. People will say that they want their outsides to match their insides, and also that same argument is used for people who don't really care about clothes, that it's really the inside that counts and, the outside is just kind of some external factor. And I've talked about this very concept on the channel previously about working towards finding your authentic self through other mechanisms, one of them being style. You can tap into who you feel like you are through something like style. This is a really common belief in fashion and style. And if we believe on some level that style is a reflection of who we are, that also means that being out of style is also a reflection of who we are. And so if you tell someone don't take it personally, we've already kind of built in this belief system that is designed for us to take it personally. And so if you're called out of style, there can be this greater urgency to fix it because now it feels like something's wrong with you, that something's wrong with your personhood, or there's some kind of lack of alignment, therefore you must fix it. When we talk about style, we're usually referencing clothes and related fields, maybe hats and shoes or jewelry. I think makeup also applies here. Hairstyles apply here. On makeover shows of the past, people who had 80s haircuts or 90s haircuts, maybe dated styles of doing makeup dated. People who have foundation that's too dark, or they're using a technique on their bangs or their blush from when they were in high school. Those kinds of things can get pegged as out of style or dated as well. And it can go even farther, like the technology that we wear, from our phones to, you don't see anybody walking around with Walkmans anymore. I also think that there's a difference between being in or out of style versus being in or out of a trend. I kind of see trends as very hyper specific items that are much more fleeting, whereas in style is kind of more like a global or longer lasting thing. An example that comes to mind in terms of this style/trend distinction would be like skinny jeans being in style or out of style, and then trend would be like a micro niche of that, such as like the bedazzled jeans, like, you know, pearls on them of a few years ago, or there was also a hot minute, maybe like 6 years ago, where there was a lot of embroidery on jeans. I still think embroidered jeans are beautiful, but they're like not as popular anymore. We could also maybe even think about like tie-dye as a trend that was like very micro, lasted like a year and a half, whereas like skinny jeans have kind of lasted a decade, maybe even longer. Anna Wintour, some influencer, might not be calling you specifically out of style, but we can also come to feel that way about ourselves and our clothes. And I think this is where this concept is applied most. Us applying it to ourselves, feeling as though we are out of style, we are not with the times. And this kind of thing can trickle down into your wardrobe, because you could be watching somebody's video that's like trends of 2024, or like what's in style, or like what's out of style. Or you could just be shopping and just kind of seeing things change. You could be seeing new releases at your favorite stores and then feeling like your clothes don't measure up. Your clothes don't look like that. And it can really just be seeing new styles for a season that can make you think, well, I don't have those things. My clothes don't look like that. Seeing new styles and trends for a season can be enough on their own. And that's the entire point of the fashion industry, and also most industries out there. They're designed to make you want things. They're designed to make you want to buy more things. The concept of trend and style is one of the ways that we want more things. And the concept of trends and style fundamentally make fashion fleeting. There is an expiration date on just about anything. Just like stop and think about that for a second, because that is truly powerful. We replace our wardrobes before their functionality is gone. Or I should say, we replace things because of our change in style long before that thing becomes functionally useless. And this is a cycle. We always hear people talking about that like fashion is like this revolving door and like trends come and go. Yeah, sure. We might know that at some level. Impact that it has on our lives is wild. I want to put this in a bit of a reframe. Fashion is a cycle. Yes, there is always something that is coming in and out of style. We're going to call this stuff Group A stuff and Group B. You're out there, you're looking at online shops. You see Group A stuff and you want it so bad. You buy it. Buy maybe a couple of Group A stuff. 5 months go along. You've been wearing Group A stuff. Maybe some of the Group A stuff has been hanging in your closet. Wow. Now you see Group B stuff. You go, oh my God, that is so cute. You buy it. You buy a couple of things. Now you're like really into Group B stuff. And then kind of is another 5 or 6 months along. Oh my God, now it's Group C. And it just keeps going and going and going and going. We're constantly like factories in some kinds of ways. Like we're always cycling through Group A, Group B, Group C. It just keeps coming and going. We're always wanting something new. That's the thing. When we want something new, it feels so like new and exciting. But when you look at the last decade of your life, just about every month over the last 10 years, there's been something new and exciting that you've wanted. And it feels exciting. It feels different, or maybe just as exciting because it's new. This is just the newest new thing that you want. Hey y'all, Editing Shauna here. I think that the Group A, Group B thing kind of got a little bit lost in the shuffle, so I do want to expand on it just a second. In reality, right, we aren't looking at things through the lens of Group A, Group B because the stuff that we want has names. We're not interested in warm tones anymore because cool tones are in style. We're not interested in skinny jeans anymore because straight leg jeans are in style. We don't see the forest for the trees, if you will, because we get so hyper fixated on this new thing that is new. And there's always something new to want. It's kind of like the ever-changing horizon. But it's when we break it down to Group A, Group B that we just kind of see the absurdity of it a little bit, it's equivalent to saying, I'm not interested in this pile of stuff over here because I'm now interested in that pile of stuff over there. I'm definitely simplifying things a little bit, but to me, like, I got this whole new perspective when I started framing things as exactly that. Fashion retailers are telling us that exact thing too. You know what? You don't need to be interested in that pile because there's this new pile here. Now, let me hand it back to Video Shauna. Eventually all of your Group A stuff gets phased out and you're left with Group B, Group C, Group D. Eventually all the Group B stuff gets phased out. Now you're left with Group C, Group D, Group E. This will never stop, yet we act like it will. No matter how many new things crop up, they just feel as exciting as the thing that you got excited about 10 years ago. And when you look at something we consider dated today, let's maybe look at early 2000s fashion. I remember being in like elementary school, wearing skirts over jeans and thinking that was the pinnacle of fashion. I was like crinkling my hair and I was like, I am a fashion queen. People of the time with their Juicy Couture sweatsuits, their Von Dutch hats, their low-rise jeans, we consumed a boatload of stuff. All of that we were excited about and it's now gone. The concept of in or out of style is completely made up. It's a concept. It's a social construct, if you will. Even before the mid-20th century and like the retail revolution, and even before the Industrial Revolution, you were having brands trying to manufacture desires by printing fashion plates or new designs in periodicals. Even into the 20th century, well into the 20th century, sewing patterns were really popular. I mean, like they were advertised. Just the concept of a new collection means that there is an old collection. There is something newer. There is something newer to want. There's something newer to wear. What's in style is new. So in order to be in style, you have to be new. Because being in or out of style isn't real, what this whole thing is really about is how we feel. We feel out of style. We are not out of style. We feel out of style. And so our feelings are very potent. And we shop in order to feel differently. We shop in order to change the perception of our reality. I'm not saying that there are absolutely no consequences anywhere in life for wearing something that others seem to be dated. But largely, this is a feeling that we try to mitigate or change. We're just as wrapped up in how we perceive ourselves as we are in how we think others will perceive us. I am not saying never buy anything new, ever. What I am saying is that brands and influencers have a vested interest in making you feel out of style and in making you feel like there are more stylish options out there. A brand doesn't have to say you're out of style in order to make you feel that way or in order to entice you to shop to fix that perception that you're having of yourself. Even magazines or brands like Vogue have a vested interest in making us feel that way. So if these brands profit from our insecurity and or making us feel out of style, we should not be trusting them we shouldn't be trusting them. I feel like that's end of sentence. One of the main reasons I'm bringing this up is its impact on us financially. We can spend thousands of dollars a year chasing in style, chasing this feeling of really wanting to be in style. When I hear people talk about impulse buying, a lot of the time people will just kind of attribute it to somebody isn't disciplined enough. Sure, that can definitely be the case in some instances, but we impulse buy for a lot of reasons. And one of them is this emotional connection, this feeling out of style, feeling inadequate, feeling like you don't measure up, your wardrobe doesn't measure up, and you want to fix that. And there's a really strong urgency to fix that, which can draw us into impulse spending. So we feel better about ourselves and we feel better about our wardrobes. We develop this impulse buying as a habit because we don't quite have the habit to say no or to say wait or to really address those feelings about why we're shopping. There will always be more new stuff to want, and this concept of in style makes buying the new stuff all the more easier. This concept has really struck a chord with me over the last 6 months when I have looked at the makeup and the clothes that I have worn over the past 5 years and how little of that I own now. How most of that was decluttered because of my own personal feelings about stuff and not because that thing is no longer functional. I have drastically changed my buying habits and how I declutter over the last year, especially, but working on over the past 3 or 4 years. And it is shocking to me just how much my life was a revolving door of stuff. And I could have had thousands more dollars in the bank had I stopped chasing stuff. I mean, I have now. So that money gets to be in the bank now. And, I'm not going to beat myself up for what could have been and what should have been. There's definitely so much more we could talk about in terms of the subject matter, but also its application to like FOMO and impulse spending and emotional spending and all of that. Maybe we'll leave that for another day. Thank you for watching and hanging out with me today. I would love it if you would subscribe so you can catch more content like this. About 50% of you aren't subscribed. Love it. Love to have you here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again around here soon.